This episode of the D-Lew Podcast is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. As someone who's used Goalie for quite some time, I can tell you that they're not only very good, but they're very beneficial. My favorite are the Super Green Gummies. The Super Green Gummies are uniquely crafted with a spectrum of essential nutrients such as vitamins A, B12, folic acid, and thiamine. It supports a healthy liver function, healthy nervous and immune system, digestive health, a boost to your metabolism, and overall health and well-being. There are no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors from artificial sources. They're vegan-friendly, gluten-free, and gelatin-free. All loyal listeners of the D-Lew Podcast get a special 10% discount at checkout. Go to goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. That's goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. This podcast is a Believe Network and Siete production. Welcome to another edition of the D-Lew Podcast, brought to you by Believe Network. I'm your host, Derrick T. Lewis, and I hope you all are enjoying the week. You know, we're heading into the weekend, really excited about some things that are on the horizon that I cannot wait to share with all of you within the next maybe week or two. So stay tuned for that. But this week's episode, I had recording artist Lady Keyz on the show, and her and I met at a mixer I went to about a month ago in New York City. It was called Music and Mimosas, that was hosted by Vidya, who is the parent company for the Vivo app, where you can watch music videos. And her and I, had a brief, introduction to each other, got to know each other, and I told her that I host my own podcast, and she asked me to be on the show, which again, it's an honor, when someone asks, to come onto the D-Lew Podcast. Everyone's welcome to come onto the D-Lew Podcast. But anyways, we talk about, life from her moving from Chicago to Miami when she was young, some things she went through as a child. We also talk about how she started her music career and how she ventured to New York City to truly live her dream. And let's not wait any longer. My interview with the one and only Lady Keyz starts right now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to introduce recording artist, the one and only Lady Keyz. Thank you so much for coming on. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be on the show tonight.
I appreciate it.
Lady Keyz.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it. They say you were born in Chicago and you had grew up in Dade County, Miami, Florida. So talk about life growing up in Miami.
Life growing up in Miami was of course, the transition coming from Chicago to Miami was different than it was kind of, me and my sisters and brothers. My dad had, ended up going to jail. So me and my sisters and brothers had to relocate, of course, to Florida. And it was, it wasn't the easiest life at first, but we worked through it. And of course, like music, helped and everything. But, me and my family, we did what we had to do, and we made it through it. But
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, there's also mention of the fact that you had some challenges you faced when you were a child, being paralyzed from the waist down. What happened? What happened with that?
I had a virus called Guillain-Barré, and it left me paralyzed for a couple months. Had to learn how to walk again and everything. I was like, I think I had to be probably around 9, 10 or something like that. Yeah. So that was definitely one of the, I think, like, in my life, I've had like big things, like, what I'm saying? Some just a couple of things that just like random stuff that happens to me that happened. That's like, and those are one of the things that happened in my life where I was like, okay, where did that come from? But got past it, and everything's great now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So let's talk about, your first exposure to music. some of the first artists that you remember as a child listening to that got you into the mood of like you becoming a fan of just music in general. What was the first, I guess, what was some of the artists that you had listened to for the very first time?
Well, of course, growing up, you hear all type of artists on the radio and everything. But when falling in love with music was the era of the Tupacs, the Little Kims, the Biggies, the Foxies, the Jay-Z's, the Busters, the Missies, you know, Eves, all the female artists that was like when it was ladies' night, popping type of stuff. That era, I mean, those big eras of music is, of course, it wasn't the breakout because it's not like when you had the Rem DMCs and the LL Cool J's, but that next era kind of brought in fashion. They brought in,
More mainstream.
more mainstream, more opportunity. It was just a different, and it was so still had the realness, but yet luxurious and fantasy. So yeah, that era definitely, and of course reggae music. The reggae artists, music in general just gets me inspired too. Landis Morissette, different type of artists, you know. My big sister and my aunt, the people who I grew up with, and then I grew up coming from an island background.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you hear all the type of music, and they were into like pop, just all kind of music that you wouldn't even imagine, to be played. So I was kind of open to a lot of music, a lot of different sounds, not just hip hop, not just reggae, but rock and roll, R&B, everything. I'm always inspired by music.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, and you mentioned about the 90s, because I know you said you mentioned that both your parents were from Jamaica, and you had mentioned reggae. The 90s, was a huge transition for the crossover, dance hall artists. So when you talk about Matt Cobra, you talk about Maxi Preach, you talk about Shabba Ranks, Patra, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
They became, like, I thought that was a huge, because the first concert I ever went to was Shabba Ranks back in 1992. And I knew that reggae was going to change the game in that regard, because there were so many people that were just clamoring for it. You know what I mean? It was on mainstream radio here in the States, and I felt as though that that needed that era needed that to happen. Those artists making their way in and thus introducing the American audience to dance hall. Because I had never heard of dance hall until because everyone heard of Bob Marley, but I think it really became, like I said, more mainstream as, like I said, the Shabba Ranks and those guys, they really, made their way into the United States. Now, what was that one artist, though, that you said that had the most impact on you coming up?
It definitely had to be for like growing up without a dad in a home. Even though my dad was band up, he was always there. Like he called all the time. Like he was there, what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna take that away from him. But, with my everyday living, I think that like listening to Pac, not the first Pac when he came out, because I don't know, I wasn't old enough to kind of know his first music, those songs. But once he
Got a Baby and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, but but once the All Eyes on Me, those are things like he like Wonder Why You Call Me Bitch and those type of records, kind of like, helped me as a young girl growing up. Like, okay, maybe I don't want to be like, like this, or this is what guys think about, or this, so he was kind of like a father figure, low key in my life, and even. Yeah, he was kind of like a father figure. DMX music definitely took me on a journey. It's 8 Ball and MJG. It's just certain people that definitely the music was just telling stories and coming up from like I didn't live in the projects, but I lived in the hood, and in the hood, the vibe, and just being able to listen to an artist that's actually giving you dropping jewels and giving you great music at the same time.
Yeah, I always thought of Tupac as a poet, because I'm old enough to remember when his first solo record came out in 91, Brenda's Got a Baby. And the unique part about that record is that it was only one verse. That song was only one verse.
I didn't even realize it was only one verse.
It was only one verse.
Yeah.
Because the hook happened at the end of the song.
Facts.
So to me, that it was, I just knew that he was going to be different, and he set himself apart from everyone else because of his intellect to be able to say because he had, obviously he was an incredible poet anyways, but being able to put that to a beat, that was genius on his part. Now,
no, I was gonna say it's given when Kanye West came out with the Jesus Walk. It's like, it's not because right now people don't want to hear about their problems. When they go party and stuff, they want to turn up. But to be able to make a record that, even though it's not a turn up record, but it's still so powerful that till this day so it's definitely was needed. And I can find I can definitely relate to him as an artist in those aspects when it comes down to the versatile vibe of my records.
Got it. Now, when did it, pop in your mind that you wanted to be a recording artist? Because, a lot of times, when we're young and we're growing and we're trying to find ourselves, as people, and trying to navigate through this crazy world as children. When was it that you said, I want to be on that stage. I want to be on TV. I want to make records. I want to make music. When was it that you made that decision?
Well, my sister thought that I had the voice, the look and the voice. I was rapping, and she came in there, and I think it wasn't one of my songs. I was rapping. I think I probably was rapping. I was rapping one of Tupac's songs, and she came in there, and she was one of those big sisters that was definitely hard on me. So if she's giving a compliment, that it's real. So she came in, and it wasn't so much what she said as how she said, how she was like, "That's you,"
Right.
And I knew that at that moment something was there, and I just kept going ever since then. But before that, I used to dance. I've always been into before my old boy got bammed up, he had me in modeling and stuff like that. So, I think that, I've always kind of been a part of somewhat entertainment. I am entertainment. When I came to New York, when I first came to New York, I went to cosmetology school, and then I went, to just so I can be on point with makeup, and because I'm so into that with doing it, making sure that I could create my own vibes when I'm creating. And then, I did a couple of acting classes and stuff like that. And in high school, I was in after school drama classes. So I think that entertainment is just all around a part of my vibe. My jit play football. It's just, I'm all about entertaining.
Got it.
Yeah, for sure. Even if you come to my house, I enjoy catering and entertaining as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You were in a group called Hot Grits. Let's talk about that for a minute. Yes. So talk about the name of the group, how you came up with it, and the stuff that you all were doing around that time. Because I was a fan. I've always been a fan of the female group. So I came up in the era with Salt and Pepper, 357. You know what I mean? And the list goes on and on. I'm giving my age away a little bit, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing wrong.
I came up in that era. You know what I mean? So talk about the origin of the group, how it came to be, and the things you were able to put out around that time.
It was awesome. It was and well, the name you said first. Okay, so Peaches, big shout out to Peachy. Peaches came up with the name Hot Grits, Girls Raised in the South. And from there, we we had a name. We had other names before. We were still trying to figure out a name, but I think the Hot Grits stuck with us, Girls Raised in the South. And then after that, believe it or not, we didn't record too much. We only probably had about 3 songs, but we took those songs. We did like a mini tour of Florida. And with 99 Jams at the time. And we had, when I say probably been in every hood, every Cribbs camp crime is that you could think about, ripping and just making a name for ourselves. Like we weren't we were a force to be reckoned with. We were talented, four, then it went to three beautiful, female artists with super talent, different styles, and it just blended very well. And I think that we created such a buzz. We created a hood buzz that was undeniable, But and it was such a great experience in my life. But what happened was, once you get out of high school, real life starts.
Right. You're right. Oh, yeah. I
So it
agree.
wasn't like we broke up because like we was beefing with each other. It wasn't that. It was just that we had to start real life, and we weren't fortunate to have parents like our like our last big show that we did. It was when we did a show, and I remember one of the girls in the group, shout out to Goldie, her dad had just came out of prison. So imagine my dad's in prison, her dad's in prison, so you could imagine the type of, vibe it was. So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have the kind of parents that's going to say, okay, boom, let's after college, let's invest and let's take it to the next level. Our parents was still, we just trying to survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once the group separated, it was for me at that time, having my JIT and everything. It was just like, okay, decision: do I continue to be an artist, you know, or do I stop because the group stopped? And that's when I kept the name because I went by Kilo in the group. And once I decided to be an artist and, say I'm gonna, and not only say I'm gonna be an artist, but then try to take it, international, get out the hood, like, okay, you got a buzz here now. Can you go to New York and get a buzz? Can you go to LA? Can you go to Texas? Can you go to Louisiana? So decided to be a solo artist at that time. And that's where Lady Keyz basically started.
Okay. Now you alluded to it a little bit, and I just wanted to talk about the decision to move to New York City, as
Yeah.
far as how that came to be.
Yeah, coming here with my homegirl, because I used to just come back and forth, like come here, spend like a month or two, before I decided to make the actual decision to stay here a little bit more because I go back and forth to the crib all the time, but it's like just to make this permanent for a while. I don't know, because you never know, I might leave again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, but what happened was I was riding with my homegirl JB and Melissa, and I remember them making a comment. They're like, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And basically breaking it down to me that New York is a melting pot. You have somebody from everywhere that, so it just takes for one person to tell one person, even in their country, or, for you to spread, to really catch a buzz. So I remember
Right.
saying like, I wanted to take over New York.
Okay. Hey.
And it was just like a girl, imagine a girl from Miami, literally from Scott Lake, Norwood, the small little area, talking about they want to take over New York. But it wasn't. I mean, it's been a long journey, but I'm close right there. Shout out to New York. Shout out to Brooklyn.
Listen, there was another artist. She's actually a favorite artist of mine that came from Detroit, Michigan, and moved to New York. And I think one of a talk show she was on when she became famous, and they asked her what was her goal. She said, "I want to rule the world." You know who that was?
Ooh.
Madonna.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
can do anything it is that you want to do, So having
And
that mindset.
last night at the listening party showed me I'm close because they was feeling the record. It was nice. I wish you could have made it. I'm
Yeah,
having another
unfortunately, I
one.
wasn't able to. But yeah, the next one I will definitely like to attend. There were some things I had to. There was some things in New York that I actually had to do yesterday that was dealing with a project that I'm working on now. So we'll definitely talk offline in regards to your next one. So
Just
let's
joking.
get into it. So so when you became a solo artist, you had two records that came out at the time, Hot Steppers and Kitty Cat. Talk about those two records for just a second.
Before that, I had a record called Big Cars, Big Rims.
Okay.
Yeah, I had before that, the songs you're talking about when I got to New York. But before I got to New York, I was still a solo artist, and I had the big cars, big rims. Me like big car, big rims, big boys, the big things. Big car, big rims, big boy. So I had that vibe, and I came here, and it's so crazy that that record had a little reggae vibe to it, even though it was a straight hip hop classic from the hood. But when I came here, I started working with the producer, which was a reggae artist / producer, and he kind of and I didn't have too many hip hop producers here because I was still getting to know people and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I bumped into him, and he ended up being so he opened me more up to the reggae vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrew, which is, him and Andrew, they they're into, he was a reggae DJ. He's a producer. So went in there, and that's where we get the Hot Steppers and the Life Over Death and, stuff like that.
Got him. Yeah. Now, you signed to Young Lion Records. Let's talk about that and where that led you to doing that.
Young Lion Record, that's my record label.
Okay.
Me and my partner. Yeah. So this is just a label that we created ourselves, just because, like, prior to me getting to this level, because right now we are in talks of collaborating with a major situation, a bigger situation.
For sure.
At first we just just wanted to do everything independent and create a masterpiece. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah. Me and my partner, we came together, we just put together, and then Showtime, which was the producer who I was telling you about, we had a couple of people who we wanted to kind of like sign and stuff like that. But when we really thought about it, we kind of felt like, let's get an artist out the way before we even thinking about any other artists right now, because I do want to sign artists. Is like my ultimate goal is to have like one or two, artists of myself, of mine. But right now, it's like, okay, I have so much focus on what I have going on that it's kind of unfair for anyone else. You know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah.
Now, I believe in 2014, your first album without seeing listed was your self-entitled album, Lady Keyz. And there's one record that I enjoyed, Diamonds and Pearls. I love that record. I really do. It was a mix of a lot of different elements. It had a little, to me, it was Lady Gaga meets Nicki Minaj almost. And that was the vibe that I got from it. So let's talk about that record and mainly the whole entire album, as far as the work went into it, the producers, some of the collabs you did on that, on the entire album.
It's so crazy because my partner came to me and he said that Rebler Star, because he produced the whole EDM project. And it's so crazy. Fast rewind a little bit to me being in Florida, that wasn't even thought to even coming to New York. I'm on the highway, right? I had a bad day. I'm on the highway crying. Some white boys pulled me. We're on the highway on 95. Had some white boys see me pull over, like, "What's up? Follow me." I'm having such a bad day. I follow them. Kids, don't do this at home. No one, don't do this at home. They end up taking me downtown to a club, which I think it was next to Club Space. I can't remember the name of it, but they have like school buses and airplanes as VIP. Like, it's some next level type of club. And I remember going in that club and hearing like some EDM pop music, and they're like doing all this stuff, and I'm like, what is this sound? I've never heard of it, before. Now, party that night. I'm like, I like it, but it's so weird, Boom. That night I'm in New York. Fast forward to him coming to me like he wants to do a project. So meet up with the producer. He sits down, listen over the songs. I'm like, this sounds like that music that I was at that club that time. I'm like, it's different, but I know that it has a big crowd because the crowd that was there was like, no, like it was crazy. I was like, yeah, I want to do it. I didn't mind. But because it was my first time doing it, I had so much hands in the pot. I don't know, everybody had an opinion about like, okay, go here, go there. So honestly, like even like a lot of the songs I wrote like straight songs to them, but then they was like, no, EDM, you don't have to put so much words. They took out a lot. They went a direction that honestly, or they just wasn't. They took out a lot of my words. They took out a lot, especially with War Outside. The verse on War Outside till this day, especially with everything that's going on in the world, would have been just phenomenal. But I'm not taking away from the project, but it's just not my favorite, and I want to redeem myself with it. But Diamonds and Pearls is one of my favorite as well. And so Rebel Star, he did a great job. The beats are awesome, but I just wish that creative wise, that I stood on my ground and went the route that I wanted. Because now when I hear some of the records, I cringe because it's just not what I expected. I don't know if you could understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's like when you look back, I mean, even like, and I'll give you an example. Like I listened to my very first record that I did in 2016, and I don't necessarily cringe because I'm very proud of that because it got me to where I am today. Yeah. But I always think like, damn, if I would have done this, this, and this. But here's the thing. That's how we get better as artists, because it's like we all need a foundation, right? In order to build a house, in order to build anything, you need a foundation. So you needed the Lady Keyz album to catapult you to the next level and to the next level and to the next level. So I wouldn't necessarily say don't cringe, be proud of it, but and say, hey, you know what? That got me here. And that's one of the things, if there's any recording artists that are listening right now, if there's a past project that, you may have those feelings about, don't do that, because you needed that. We all learn from our mistakes. Not every L is a loss, is a lesson. You know what I mean? And that's something that a mentor of mine told me a long time ago, because not every L is a loss, but it is a lesson. And you learn from it and you move on. You learn from it and you apply some of those things that you did learn from a previous project and say, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this. And that's how the music matures, not from a content perspective, but from an overall sound, how you from the production standpoint, your voice, how you project, all those things. So that's important, to have that mindset.
You're 100% right, because the next project that I did do, which was the Keisha project, and it's like a mixtape EP, I went in there and just wrote everything myself. Now, when I go back, even though I'm sorry, I wrote everything before, but I didn't give anybody a chance to take anything out. Anything out. You can't take anything out. You can't tell me to rewrite. You can't tell me, if it's something that I really feel like, oh, you're right about, I do listen, to if it makes sense. But when I know in my heart that this is how I want to do it, this is what I'm doing and this is how it's going to go. And like you said, it wasn't an L, it was a lesson, because the Keisha project, love the Keisha project, the Journey project, love the Journey. This project last night, everyone that walked out was like, I like every song. I love every song. So, what you're saying, if you're listening as an artist, it is a growing, even though you're going to still cringe if you're a critic to yourself, as I could, like, if you critique yourself to the point of return, and, you're going to have those moments that you are, but then, this, like I said, the album is not a bad album. I have some people that love that album. It's not a bad, but because I know how much better I could have done. And like you said, you hear certain things and you're like, you know what, I could have said that word, or I could have, or I missed my verse. I think more for me is missing my verses. Like some of them. Yeah.
As far as the creative control, because obviously when there's other, to your point, when there's other hands in the pot, everyone's going to have their opinions or what you should do, whatever the case. So, but you know why
it was very important for me, because you remember, at the end of the day, this is my career, and anyone comes in and they're helping, I don't want them to feel like you're around and you can't have an opinion. You don't say. So I do want to give them a chance to, this project. Okay, we can all. So if it doesn't work out, I could say I listened. Now let's try it my way. Because you don't ever want the people who's supporting you to feel like they don't have any say, because it's, as much as you may be the face of it, everybody on the team, is just as important. So you want to make sure that, so it's not that, like you said, it was just it's a lesson learned, because now they did that. I did the other project. Now they trust me a little bit more, a lot more now in the studio.
Got you.
Yeah, because I'm different. I'm from Miami. So some things I might be saying, they may not get it until after the song, when it's all together. Like, they kind of understand, oh, okay, I see where it's going now. It's a vibe,
Exactly. This episode of the D-Lew Podcast is brought to you by Goalie Nutrition. As someone who's used Goalie for quite some time, I can tell you that they're not only very good, but they're very beneficial. My favorite are the Super Green Gummies. The Super Green Gummies are uniquely crafted with a spectrum of essential nutrients such as vitamins A, B12, folic acid, and thiamine. It supports a healthy liver function, healthy nervous and immune system, digestive health, a boost to your metabolism, and overall health and well-being. There are no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or colors from artificial sources. They're vegan-friendly, gluten-free, and gelatin-free. All loyal listeners of the D-Lew Podcast get a special 10% discount at checkout. Go to goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. That's goalie.com, use promo code DLEW. In your opinion, though, how does your music intertwine in the industry in the modern era today?
Well, last night, someone was like, "Your music sounds like now." It's a different vibe, It's a different vibe, but it's now. And I have records that's, it's so money. It's so many things, like from party to, inspiration, to anthems, to, digging deep within yourself, so it's just a round project with just it's a fulfilling project.
Got it. Now, what are some of the what artists have you been compared to? If anybody,
last night I woke up this morning, and I said to my partner, I said, they didn't compare me to nobody last night. Nobody didn't say, oh, this sounds like, they did say that Pink Flamingo sounds like it could be in the movies, but Superhuman made it to the movies last year. But yeah, January the 14th, it dropped in the Sigma on the movie theaters with the Avatar movie this year. So Magnolia, if you guys watch cartoon, Superhuman movies, go and check Magnolia out. But yeah, Superhuman made it to the movies. So when they said Pink Flamingo sound like a sound for the movies, I was like, yeah. There was like 2 people said that it sound like a nut. So because when I did Superhuman, it was so like that people was like, who does a Superhuman movie? But I was feeling an aura around me at that time when I was in the studio. It felt like I had I just felt powerful. And I remember recording that song, and even though I don't know if I would use the word corny, it was just so maybe simple, or just so what rappers talking about being a superhuman. But I really was feeling not to even say feeling myself, but feeling the power within myself when I created that hook and everything. And it may not be a radio song or club song, but it had a place, and it made it to the movie theaters. And last night when they were saying that they didn't compare any songs, but they did say that song sounded like it could be in the movies. So I would compare it to Superhuman, which is another one of my songs that made it to the movies.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What was the best piece of advice anyone has ever given you? And that could be family, the industry, someone in the industry, or anything of the sort. What was the best advice given to you?
Live and let live.
Mm. Elaborate.
um Growing up, we as people,
Mm-hmm.
how you were raised, how I was raised. You might meet me, and you might feel like this is not how this goes. I might meet you, and I might feel like, oh, that's not how that goes.
Right.
So being an artist, you meet so many people, and if you were to walk, because and for me, I don't think I was a judgmental person, but it's like some things I'm just not used to, like, you know, but instead of, you know, like looking at it like, what, this is not as supposed to be, but just trying to embrace it and accept it. So when someone says live and let live, it's just more like embrace people, accept people, you know, and knowing that no one's perfect and everybody is they're probably looking at me like that. You know what I mean? Or I'm not,
Right.
or you may not be too far from that.
Got it. Got it.
Or
Got it.
somebody might be close to you who you may become that, so it's just and and overall I feel like once you get to that level of just living and let living, let living and live and let live, and letting go, give it to God, or whoever it is that you believe in, I feel like it's a woosah moment.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah.
There was one record in particular that I fell in love with too, because again, I had to do my research and I had to look and I actually saw the video to it, and it was called The Queen of My City.
Yeah.
And to me, that was an anthem.
Thanks.
When you're representing, the city of Miami, Dade, shout out to Dade County,
Yeah.
talk about, what that song meant to you being from Miami and, because obviously when you talk about artists from Miami, obviously you're talking about Trick Daddy, you talk about Trina, you talk about Pitbull, Flo Rida, everybody that's in, representing Miami. You know what I mean? What did it mean to you putting out a record, to wave the flag of the city?
Yeah, the city where I'm from, they labeled me the queen of my city.
Mm,
Yeah, my hood did that.
okay.
Certified Big Keys. Yeah, my hood did that. Like, it's not necessarily about music, but like I told you, growing up without a dad, my mom had to work all the time. We had to raise ourselves. We was out here a little bit. I paid my dues out here in these streets. So, and still have, very respectable, but yet, and evolved from a little girl in the hood to a boss businesswoman that's out here trying to be an international, not trying, and at this point is an international artist. I'm doing my mix. And it's just what it is, And I mean, just the what can I say? I mean, I think that Queen of My City is not everybody could be the queen of anywhere you're from. You representing, you trying your best, you can be the queen of your city. But when it came to Queen of My City, when it came to writing it, that's me and my dog sitting down, popular like, yo, you the queen of your city. This is not something where you could rap it and really not feel no way in Miami. Some no offense, some people can't really go there to my queen. I'm like, queen of what? But in reality, I got the remix going because I want every queen from every city to jump on it. But Queen of My City just came from the hard work and dedication that I put into the game, that I put in, into my craft, and how hard I've been going and how much I represent, like, Miami, for no matter where I'm at. I represent Brooklyn no matter so these are the I can say that. And now I got the remix going out with other women jumping on there that's the queen of their city, their town, and they representing the same thing, You know?
It's a very, I mean, just that, how do I put this? That idea, is great because think about it, you can have somebody from LA, somebody from Chicago, somebody from New York, somebody from wherever, Baltimore or whatever, and they can hop on a record, and that can put the spotlight, you know what I mean, on their city, so that's you.
Facts.
I enjoyed that idea. That's great. Now your
Yeah, I just
latest.
got one of the girls just sent that back. One of the girls just sent their remix back.
Mhm.
She killed it. So these people not playing when they coming on it either. So if you jump on that Queen of My City, make sure you kill it.
Ladies, you hear it. Any aspiring female artists that's out there that want to hop on another remix of Queen of Your City, make sure you bring that heat. Now, you do have the latest single, Cake and Muffin. Let's talk about that. Congratulations on that. Just recently came
Thank
out.
you.
So, who did you work with? And talk about the origin of the song and definitely what it means.
Cake and Muffin. It's a fun, in your face kind of record, and it's basically a girl. I definitely was feeling empowered. That's definitely one of those records that made me feel super, super empowered. It's just like a girl's night out,
Mm-hmm.
and even or a guy's night out too. Like man, it's just us. That's my dog, color my cousin, like me. You know what I'm saying? We ain't stressing about no boys. We're having drinks. We're chilling. We're about to go out. We're about to go hang out. We're gonna have a great time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the summertime. We're not stressing right now. We're trying our best to just have a good time. Don't
Yeah.
try me. Don't come for me. No stress-free zone. Drinking water, minding our business.
There you go.
Drinking some water, minding our business.
Exact.
That's what
That's the key. That's the key
turn
to
up.
life right there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now for Lady Keyz,
And money, getting that money, cake and muffin,
yes,
getting that money.
yes. Like I said, for Lady Keyz, what are your short term and long term goals at this moment in time?
Short-term goals is the record that I have right now. I just did a listening party yesterday that turned out phenomenal. OMG, love the feedback, love the energy. So what I'm doing now is the two records that I have for Jamaica. I have to go to Jamaica soon. And we're doing a listening party there for the two records. I'm going to release the two the two reggae records down there and have a listening party down there. Once we get the feedback from there, then we kind of know which reggae record we want to really push in Jamaica and which hip hop record. And I'm right now, I think every 3 weeks or maybe every 2 weeks, I want to drop a record. Or every month. I haven't decided about, or maybe drop a couple records and then decide when the people kind of is like, yo, we want an EP, we want an album.
Right.
And I'm ready for I'm actually already ready for an album, but I don't want to just throw an album out there and they're not. I want to, drop a couple of singles so they can kind of just keep getting them to know me a little bit more.
Got it. Got it. Now, on that note, though, who would you want to collaborate with musically? And it could be anybody that's out there, whether they're independent or whether they're major recording artists, that's out there. Who are some of the ones that you would love to collaborate? That's a Lady Keyz and blank.
Oh my God, who did I say that? I know this one singing girl because I have this. I'm just thinking about right now. I'm just thinking about the songs that I have that could probably put a feature on there. So, I've been drinking more alcohol for. I don't know who she is, but I have a song that I think that she could do the hook for. Um, I would like to do a song with the girl. I think her name is Summer. She's a singer girl too. And then with rapper girls, I think that because I'm from Miami, it would make sense for me to possibly do a record with a Florida artist. And first I was going to say the City Girls, but then we decided that maybe it would be Kodak, you know, and because I like Kodak. Um, I like Greasy too, but I like Kodak. And then so that's in Florida. And then I would like to do I got so many people. It would be crazy to do this. Summer Walkers. I said that I wanted to do a song with, of course, Vibes Cartel if you're talking about reggae. And it's a couple of Mobe artists that I probably will want to do a song with too. And then hip hop wise, oh God, so many. I like that girl Body Clutching on the Flight. Apple bottoms make her want to bite. Yeah. I like her. I think that she can go into my vibe with a good set. I think that she probably, because I think people that matches my voice too, you know, and my style. It's so many. Who else? Who did I see the other day? That I said I would really love to do a song. Probably damn, I'm gonna miss out some. But the baby, all two of the babies. I don't know. Future. I think I would sound good with Future too. Kanye, of course. I think I sound good with Future Kanye. Who else I think I would sound good with? I feel so bad because I might get off the phone with you and go online and see somebody, but oh my God, I didn't see this person.
Right.
Yeah, I think I ain't gonna lie to you though, but pretty much any art, because it's not an artist that I don't like one of their songs. I might not be a fan, but most likely they have one song that I can say, oh, that's my song. If I'm gonna, so it's not even. I don't even have an artist like I say I don't like that.
Got it. Now,
I want to work with anybody that want to work with me.
That's how we grow, right?
Yeah, that genuinely want to work with me, like want to do the damn thing. That's what I'm on. If I forgot about you and you're listening and you like, yo, I like her vibe. She ain't say me. Yes, you.
Got it. So what's been some cities that you have performed in that you say, I would love to go back and perform in? What's been, a venue of yours that you say, you know what, I would love to go perform there again? South by Southwest. I was supposed to go, I think last year. I didn't get to go, but I performed there a couple years back. And I love the energy that they gave me. Like literally and it was people from all walks of life, but they had, I had archives there, but just the love that they gave me down there. And I didn't even bring like a big old promotion team, but it was just like, they just felt the vibe. So South by Southwest, I would like to do that again, of course. And I had, of course, Summer Jam. I would like to go back and get on the bigger stage. Okay. Yeah, for sure. I did I don't remember what fest that was in Jamaica, but they had like a couple of big artists, if I'm not mistaken. Rick Ross performed on that day when I performed. Bobby Valentino, I think a couple of I don't know, but it was a big concert. I would like to go to Jamaica and do a big concert again, maybe Sunfest or something, but something big, of course. And Best of the Best, I would because I lost my voice. Let me retract. I lost my voice. The Best of the Best. I would want to redeem myself, even though, believe it or not, even though my voice was lost, the crowd was feeling the vibe, Right, but and that's all that matters. But I want to redeem myself. I want to do Best of the Best in Miami. Yeah. Best of the Best if you're listening. Yeah, for sure. Now, where can everyone find you on social media? YouTube, or any like where people can find where they can buy your merch, whatever, the whole 9 yards. Where can people find you?
www.ladykeyz.com, @Lady Keyz, and you can Google me because I'm on all social platforms. That's out there,
including Threads, or no?
Huh?
Including the new social media app, the social media platform Threads. That's by Instagram. Are you on there yet?
I don't know. I have to look. If you're on there, can you look if you see me? I don't know. I don't even think I've ever heard of Threads. It
literally just came out a few days ago. That's the only reason why I was at to hop on the train. Yeah, that's all.
Oh, send me over a link. Let me send it. Let us see what's going on over there.
Yeah, we got to talk about that offline. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. Yeah. So you're also so that's all the social media. So everything they can find you at Lady Keyz. Well, let me just say, when we met about a month ago, there was an event that you and I had met at, hosted by Vidya, which is a parent company for, when you distribute music, when you distribute music videos, and they had a mixer there, and I actually had the opportunity to meet Lady Keyz. And when I tell you she's a ray of sunshine, she really is. And, when we talk, about, just the things that she's doing, things that I'm doing, not just in the music space, but then, for example, this podcast. And she said, when can I come on? That was the first thing she asked. And it wasn't even a matter of, well, I don't know. It makes us think, when can I come on? So I want to, thank her publicly for, coming on to the D-Lew podcast to talk about all aspects of her music career and where she's going, the trajectory for where Lady Keyz is going. So I really appreciate you coming on to the show, and, best wishes to you and all your future endeavors in this business and everything else you have going on, because just hearing some of your catalog was extremely inspiring to me as an artist, that literally we're limitless and we can do anything that we want to do. We can literally do, when we really put the creative juices together and do all the things that we want to do, nothing can stop us. So I really do appreciate you, taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you had a listening party last night in the city, and, agreeing to come on today. I really appreciate it.
No, listen, I appreciate you anytime. We're locked in together now. Make sure you download the Cake and Muffin and turn up tonight and have some fun. But yeah, I love even though I don't know, like I was saying earlier, I was like, I hope he doesn't ask me who's my favorite wrestling character, because I don't even know her name, but I love her.
Oh yeah. We were talking a little bit about professional wrestling when we were there, because you found out, you couldn't believe I was actually, in the pro wrestling business as a ring announcer. And I was like, yeah. And you actually stopped talking about music and was talking about pro wrestling. So I just thought that was cool that you were very much into asking me questions about certain aspects of it. So I definitely appreciate it. But like I said, go out and listen to Cake and Muffin. It's out now on all platforms, whether it's, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Tidal, every, platform that's out there. Make sure you look up Lady Keyz with a Z, by the way, and make sure you're hearing, not just Cake and Muffin, but all of her.
The journey, the journey, the Keisha project, they're all out there. Check out the videos as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
The book,
go ahead.
And sorry, and of course, I have a book out called Jamaican Hot Steppers and Lethal Conflict, written by C.P. Bowen. You guys check that out. Check out my music and check out the videos. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Keyz, again, thank you so much for coming on to the show. And like I said, best wishes to you and all that you do.
Oh, thank you. I love you guys. Love you so much. Say Lady Keyz, Lady Keyz.
All right. Take care.
Well, that does it for this week's edition of the D-Lew Podcast. Again, I want to thank Lady Keyz for stopping by to tell us her story about where she's been, where she's at, and where she's headed. And again, I wish her all the best in what she continues to do. And of course, the invitation is always open for you to come back on the D-Lew Podcast. Now, if you're listening to this show and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Whichever platform that you're listening to this on, I don't care if it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, or which other platforms that you're listening to this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, so when there's new content, you get it automatically. You don't have to search for it. You'll just get it at your device that you're subscribing to. Okay. Social media. I know there's a new app. Okay, there's a couple of new apps that just came out recently. And one is called Spill App. And there's the recent one called Threads, which is owned by Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram. And they're making waves. Basically, Threads is the alternative to Twitter. It is amazing. But you can reach me on social media, like I said, on Twitter, Threads, Instagram, Spill App, TikTok at The Real D-Lew. Facebook is Derrick T. Lewis official page. My YouTube channel, you can look me up, Derrick T. Lewis or The Real D-Lew, whichever one you want. Either way, when you see it, you can just hit subscribe and you can see all of my content on there. Get your latest hoodies and tees over at shop.derricklewis.com. Again, shop.derricklewis.com, where you can get hoodies and tees at my online store. Well, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have an incredible weekend. Make it productive, make it fun. And no matter what it is that you do, always remember,
to make it count. See you next time.